I want to be really honest with you today. Something I realised only recently is that I have a real addiction to my phone. That little rectangle that we all carry in our pockets all day, every day. I never called it an addiction before. I called it more like just checking on things, checking the email, checking the news, checking the weather, checking how many views I've had on my videos, just checking. But when you start doing that, not once or twice a day, but every 5 minutes, you realise that maybe, just maybe, we have a problem. I remember one morning just a few days ago, I got up out of bed and first thing I grabbed my phone, which was by my bedside, and I started scrolling just to check on things, But 45 minutes later, I was still there staring at that screen. And you know what I got out of it? Absolutely nothing. Well, I did get to see a cat playing a piano and what somebody had for lunch yesterday and the opinion of some politician on immigration. But did any of this really improve my life one little bit? Absolutely not. I actually didn't only not improve my life in any way by scrolling on my phone, but I felt totally empty. It's not edifying, it's not uplifting, it's just a habit that I had ingrained into my life. You see, the painful revelation for me was that I was not just wasting a whole lot of time, but it was doing nothing for me. And I came to the painful realization that I was not just wasting a whole lot of valuable time, but it was only causing me to feel empty inside, not satisfied at all. So why was I doing it? But like many people, I was filling every little gap in my life by pulling out that rectangle in my pocket and staring at a shiny screen. You know the picture well. You get on a train or a bus, you sit in a cafe or a restaurant, you wait in a doctor's surgery. In fact, anywhere you go where people pause, they're all on their phones. Because we don't want silence. We don't want to be bored. We want to fill every moment with an activity, so we choose the activity of staring at our phone. But the turning point for me was when I realised that this was a serious addiction in my life. And I had to call it what it was. I'm addicted to my phone. Every bit as much as you get addicted to sugar, or you get addicted to drugs or cigarettes or alcohol or gambling or any other addiction, the phone addiction is just as real. And so I had to admit that I was addicted to my phone. But then I had to come up with a plan of action. My plan of action sounded simple enough, but I can tell you now it wasn't easy at all. The first thing I had to do was to get my phone out of the bedroom. You see, I had it by my bedside table. I could reach for it. So when I got into bed at night before I went off to sleep, I'd pick up my phone and I'd be scrolling on Facebook, looking at YouTube, checking my views, all of those things, and then I would eventually go off to sleep. But if I woke up in the night, you know what I was doing? Not just getting up to go to the bathroom, I was getting up to check my phone. And so I'm not just doing it all day, I'm beginning to do it through the night as well. And then, of course, when I wake up in the morning, I'm reaching for my phone again because first thing, I want to know what, Auntie Mary fed a cat for breakfast yesterday. Crazy, isn't it? This was my lot in life. So the first thing I did, I decided I'm going to not take my phone to bed anymore. I'll leave it in another room completely where it's out of sight, and I get rid of the blue light in my room altogether, which is another benefit, and I sleep without my phone. I've been doing that for a couple of weeks now, and I tell you what, it's made a difference. I think I'm actually sleeping better and I feel better when I go to bed. And when I wake up, instead of filling my mind with garbage, I can wake up and call to mind all the things that I am grateful for in this day. Even before I get out of bed, I say to myself, thank you for a new day. Thank you for health and strength. I'm going to live this day full of joy and purpose and meaning. And I start my day like that instead of strolling on the phone. So that was the first thing I did, was to get the phone out of the bedroom. The next thing I had to do was that I realised that whenever I was with my wife, either sitting in the lounge watching a movie or sharing a meal at the dining room table, I was always on my phone. I always had the phone next to me, ready to look at. Even if I took my wife out for dinner, for God's sake, I'd have it there and I'd be picking it up, just checking the email, just checking to see how many views I got. What a miserable way to live. So I've decided that at mealtimes, all mealtimes, and any time I'm spending time with my wife or my kids or a loved one, I'm not going to use my phone at all. It's not even coming to breakfast. It's not even going out for a meal at a cafe anymore. I'm leaving it at home because that time is really sacred. So that's the second small change I've made. I've made one more change, and that was to create some space in my day where I just don't have my phone. And for me, what I've done in a tangible way is that each morning after breakfast, I do a morning routine before breakfast, but after breakfast, I go out for a walk on my own. I want some space to be alone and to be quiet. And I've decided that walk usually goes about 2 hours, and I leave my phone at home. Do you know how hard it is to leave your phone at home when you automatically take it everywhere you go? You got to try it. It is immensely hard. But look, these are 3 small steps that I have made to start to acknowledge that I am addicted to that thing. It's not helping my life. I want to get rid of it. And so I'm putting some things in place to give me a pathway to freedom from holding that phone all day, every day. So share with me in the comments, would you? How do you get on with that temptation to simply grab that phone every time you have a spare moment in your day? What things have you done to counteract that addiction in your life? If you're like me and been totally addicted to the phone, I'd love to hear from you. Look, thanks for watching. Please join our Facebook group, The Carnivore Pensioner. Subscribe to this channel, and please consider joining and becoming a member of this channel. Members get a number of benefits that others don't get. They get all my videos a day early, they get members' own videos, and they get everything for free, everything on my website that others have to pay for. And there's a whole lot of resources there, so have a look at that. Look, thanks for watching today. Keep telling your story. Stay away from your phone as much as you can, and God bless.